Today, we're diving into a really brilliant case of industrial problem solving from the automotive supplier Intexar. It's an awesome story about getting rid of danger, wiping out waste, and pretty much securing a company's future, all with one incredibly gutsy engineering move.
Yeah, I know. It sounds totally backwards, right? How could you possibly fix a complex manufacturing problem by taking a massive, expensive metal mold and literally cutting pieces off of it? Well, as we're about to see, that one radical decision was the key that unlocked this huge transformation. All right, first things first. Let's get a handle on the problem Intexar was dealing with. Their old process for making vehicle carpets wasn't just a little inefficient. It was a double whammy, creating two massive problems day in and day out. And here you can see that dual threat in action. On one hand, you've got a serious, real danger to the people on the team. On the other, you have this constant financial bleed from wasted materials. This just couldn't continue. Something had to change, fundamentally.
Now, what's so fascinating here is how these two problems were totally connected. So for every cycle, 4 operators had to manually stretch a carpet blank over the mold. To do that, they literally had to put their hands inside the machine's path, a top 6 safety hazard for entrapment, which is a huge deal. At the exact same time, because they were stretching it by hand, the material would sag in the middle, creating this belly that wasted over 6% of the material on every single part.
Okay, so the symptoms were obvious: high risk and high waste. The team had to play detective. They had to dig deep and find the one single engineering flaw that was causing both of these issues.
And this is what they found. The old mold, which you're looking at right here, had these static pins located inside the main molding area. That one design choice set off a chain reaction, creating this clamping trap that made both the risk and the waste completely unavoidable.
So let's break down exactly how this trap worked. First off, because those pins were inside the mold, the operators had absolutely no choice but to reach in and physically hold the material to keep it from warping. Step 2, that put their hands right in the line of fire. And third, to give them something to actually grip onto, the raw material had to be made with an extra 5.5 centimeters on each side. That margin? It was pure 100% waste.
So let's just let that sink in. For every single carpet that came off that line, the company was throwing away a full 11 centimeters of perfectly good material, all because of where a few little pins were placed on a machine. You can imagine how fast that adds up.
All right, so the team had their culprit. They knew a little tweak or a Band-Aid fix wasn't going to cut it. This was going to require a total pivot, a really disruptive idea.
And here it is. This is that crazy idea. Instead of designing a whole new mold from scratch, they took out the cutting tools and physically sliced off 5 centimeters of solid steel from each side of the one they already had. You can actually see them doing the work right here. Talk about a hands-on commitment to fixing the problem at its very core.
So why on earth did this work so well? Well, cutting the mold did 3 amazing things all at once. First, it completely got rid of the internal pinholes that started the whole mess. Second, by doing that, it eliminated the entire reason for that 5.5 centimeter waste margin. And third, it created brand new space on the outside of the mold, perfect for installing a new automated system.
And wow, this just says it all, doesn't it? The before and after. On the left, you see the old way, with that saggy, wasteful belly of material. And on the right, the new reality. The material is held perfectly taut, perfectly straight by the new pneumatic system. You can literally see the problem has vanished.
So this new system, what they call low-cost automation, created a totally hands-free operation. As you can see in this diagram, the operators now stand in the green zone, completely out of harm's way. You've got these active scanners that make sure the machine won't even think about moving if anything crosses into the work area. The risk was completely engineered out of the process.
So what was the bottom line? What were the results of this incredibly bold move? Well, the payoff wasn't just one single benefit. It was a triple impact that completely changed the game for this product line.
Okay, first up, the money. By getting rid of that 11 centimeters of waste on every single piece, Intexar saved over $450,000 every single year. That works out to a direct saving of $3.40 per vehicle. Second, the environmental impact, which is huge. Those savings add up to nearly 64 tons of material that is no longer being wasted annually. Now, to put that in perspective for you, that's 12 full-sized industrial skips of scrap material that they don't have to haul away and process every year.
And third, and this is really the most important one, the human impact.
The project achieved 100% elimination of that critical top 6 entrapment risk. It's just gone.
So the big takeaway here is that this was never just about saving money. As this pyramid graphic shows, it was a triple win. You've got safety and better working conditions at the very top, supported by this massive foundation of environmental and economic benefits. It was a win on absolutely every level.
Now, when you have a success this big, you can't just keep it on one production line, right? So the final and maybe most important piece of this story is how Intezar is turning this one project into a blueprint for the entire company.
They're using a strategy called Yoko 10. It's a Japanese term that basically means sharing best practices horizontally across the whole organization. The plan is to take this low-cost automation solution and roll it out everywhere it can be used, making it the new company standard as they aim for world-class efficiency by 2030.
And really, it all comes back to their powerful company motto: survival first, innovation always. This project is just a perfect example of that idea in action. They use smart, bold innovation, not just to get a little better, but to secure their future. It just goes to show you, sometimes the most creative solution is also the most direct one.